Why do you want to hunt?
Because you all think that I can't.
I almost did the countdown.
I know that was going to change it up. Do you want to do another one?
No. Hey, have you ever played the Prey video games?
You mean Predator?
No, the Prey video games.
Oh no, I haven't.
Neither have I.
Oh, okay.
No, I played the first one, which also had a Native American angle to it. I don't know if the sequel does.
I heard at least the 2016 one. That's when it came out, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. And it's funny because that's when the Doom reboot came out too, and the Doom reboots are amazing.
Yeah. Everyone I think it was one of those ones where everyone responded well to the new Prey, and then it just didn't translate to sales, and it didn't become the next big thing. You know.
Yeah, maybe Doom kind of took the wind out of its sails.
It also did that with that's what happened with the original Prey too. I mean, Prey came out, got good reviews. People were like, "This is a solid game," and then no one really remembers it.
Maybe it's release window bullshit, you know?
I don't know. I think it's just sometimes you can have all the pieces and they just don't come together. Anyway, let's talk about Prey.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Predator Retrospective. I'm your host, Diego Crespo. With me today is my co-host, Matt Garingo.
Yep.
Just yep? That's all we get today?
Yep. That's
okay.
I'm going to show as much enthusiasm as this movie showed.
No, then you should be fucking pumped up because we're talking about Dan Trachtenberg's 2022 film Prey, starring Amber Midthunder, Dakota Beavers, Dane DeLiegro as the titular Predator. No, not titular Predator this time. Now it's just Prey, which I think is kind of works because it really is. Amber Midthunder's character story, Naru.
Yeah.
Which I don't think you even disagree with. You just don't care.
Yeah. I mean, it might be a problem to have an incredibly one-note character as your main character for a film.
Boo. Boo.
That might be a problem if you're trying to, be we're gonna do a movie that's all action. You need a little bit more. But maybe also deliver on the action. You could have done that as well. You could have done a lot of things.
And I think the movie does a lot of things very well.
Yeah. None of them on screen, though.
No.
They were all in, pre-production boardrooms. Where someone sat down and was like, wouldn't this be awesome? And they were like, yeah, that'd be right. Now, can we get someone that can actually shoot it? And they were like,
how dare you?
And
okay, so did you like 10 Cloverfield Lane?
I actually did. I really like 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah, I think that's a better movie than this.
It's a significantly better film than this, but also a lot of people made the complaint at the time that 10 Cloverfield Lane kind of falls off right when you go into that third act fight with the giant spaceship. And I remember not feeling that way when I watched it, but now that I've seen Prey, I'd be like, you know what, I think I get what people were talking about. I think his strength is not big action set pieces. Because some of the best stuff in Prey is more suspense driven and are more quieter moments, like when she's sinking in that in the whatever the fuck that was, or when she has to put the bow back together. That's a really good sequence, but the actual action is very flat and uneventful, which is a problem if that's what you're selling your movie on.
I just don't understand where you're coming from. So people already know I love the movie.
Yeah.
You are a blasphemer right now.
People are calling it a banger.
It is a banger.
What are other?
Hey, and people agree with me.
What are other overused terms people use?
Hashtag Team Diego.
Tour de
That's not
force.
a term that people overuse. That's just the truth.
This movie fucks.
Oh yeah. People say that. I don't know about that, but it's really good.
It's about 100 minutes, which is too long.
It's is it 100 minutes?
I think so.
Oh yeah, it's exactly 100 minutes.
Yeah. It looks shockingly cheap at times.
It was not a big budget movie,
which I can see that, but this is coming.
But I also think I think it looks great. I'm like really
if you're a big
surprised
fan,
that you didn't like the look of it.
If you're a big fan of CGI blood, it looks great. I
don't know.
I questioned.
I like the blood.
I questioned at a certain point why this was even R-rated. If you're just going to put fake blood in after the fact, you could have not done that, and this could have been a PG-13 movie. But hey, fans maybe would have revolted.
I do wish it was a little more violent. I will say I think it's the least mean of the Predator movies. I think the Predator franchise has a really great mean streak in its body. Even in the lesser appreciated films, like we talk about Your Beloved, AVPR, and there's fucking kids getting chest bursted in that.
Great movie. So the movie, you say the movie looks great. Was this shot on an iPhone? Have iPhones gotten a lot better?
I hate you.
It's man, this looked flat.
That's like shocking to me. I think it looks.
There might be
like
a significant
great
difference here between, because you did see it in theaters, right?
There's one note I absolutely have to bring up. Rewatching it at home, the night stuff looked a little darker than I remember. The night stuff on the big screen looked kind of amazing.
Maybe that's what I am missing here.
Which is what a lot of people are missing. So before we get into more of the Prey stuff and I pry a conversation out of Matt Ringo, I should talk about how this is only a streaming-only movie. Do you know why that is, Matt?
Probably for some bullshit.
Yeah, there's two big bullshit reasons. Dan Trachtenberg talked about it when he was interviewed by Uprocks, by that dude who always gets really funny conversations out of people for some reason, Mike Ryan. Uprocks, yeah.
Remember Uprocks? They were going to be the next big thing.
Yeah, and now nothing is the next big thing because the internet imploded last decade, but Mike Ryan gets a great interview out of people. Anyways, Dan Trachtenberg was saying that it was shifted to streaming after the buyout, and this movie was in development before the Disney buyout of Fox.
So Fox is to blame for it looking so cheap. Got it.
No. 20th Century Studios, excuse me. I don't fucking keep track of the name changes anymore. It was in development at the same time as Shane Black's was like getting off the ground, so I think they really wanted that one to blow the doors open for the franchise, and that just didn't happen. But they were like, "Fuck it, let's do this one anyways," because it's cheap and a great idea.
Yeah, you can see the skeleton of like what they were trying to do here too, and that's gross. But hey,
yeah. Anyway, so Dan Trachtenberg was saying that they wanted it to shift to a streaming-only release because it would have brought people to Hulu. It's the first 20th Century franchise film that they're releasing, and they felt that Predator, fucking all these name changes, Predator was a big enough brand name to like bring people to the app. That's already like bad enough. But then there was a report, either like THR or Variety, that suggested, and then people have openly like admitted, that Prey avoids theaters because due to old distribution deals from 20th Century Fox before it was 20th Century Studios, if Prey had gone to theaters, it would have gone to like places like HBO Max first, and it would have been like over a year before it got to the Disney servers like Hulu and Disney Plus internationally.
And if they only waited like a week, HBO Max imploded this week, so...
And isn't that fucking hilarious?
So they wouldn't have had to worry.
Yeah. But it's also still fucked up even without that.
Yeah.
Like, that's a horrible business practice. And then we get to the HBO Max stuff, and it's like, holy shit, we had no idea.
Hey, let's talk about HBO Max for a second. I don't understand what anyone... It feels like everyone is talking gibberish from these companies right now. It was HBO Max. Was it losing money? I guess is the big question.
I'm pretty sure every streamer is losing money, but this one was like solidifying itself as like brand respectability that you can't really like market. You know, it just kind of happens through like your library and your interface and user satisfaction. and I know a lot of people have problems with like the app stalling on their TVs or whatever. I don't know what it is. I've only had that problem like once or twice watching Godzilla vs. Kong or the Game of Thrones finale.
HBO Max, like, it had a really rocky start and like kind of turned its shit around. But I guess what I'm asking, I was just like, so they are losing money, these streaming services.
Yeah, I mean, like Netflix, the biggest one, isn't turning a profit still. So I think that we can like surmise that all of them are losing money. Yeah. I don't have like hard numbers in front of me to say that though. Mm-hmm. No one does, which is probably also a bad sign. Mm. So Hulu's probably not making money either.
Yeah, well, it's Disney
and
Plus.
I guess they just thought like Predator was like, oh, this is gonna bring the kids in.
But the bigger question is Disney Plus making money? Because they can take a hit on Hulu if Disney Plus is the one making money.
You know, I don't know. Again, I really do think like none of these things make money.
Okay.
Which is why I fucking hate this phrase, but devil's advocate, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. The very idea of beefing up your theatrical quality films, right, and like focusing on what makes them as good as they possibly can be, is not a terrible idea. Mm-hmm. In fact, it feels like many production companies lack quality control, to say the least.
Yes.
Now, is it the best idea to just use entire nearly completed productions as tax write-offs instead of releasing them to the public? Will that maybe hurt your relationship with the artist you're trying to sway to work with you?
So when does that? Because they will just reverse that at some point. Like, how long though?
I don't know.
Like, that's the thing.
It feels like the world's in such a bad place that these bad people can just get away with bad things. Mm.
Yeah, but like
a long while.
Here's the thing: like, it's not going to work. Like the pivots they're making, it's not going to work.
No.
It's just so like at some point, like he's going to get ousted, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I hate this shit, but like, the shareholders are apparently like unhappy. Like, the stock prices are down for them. Mm-hmm. Like, there's probably like a way to pivot from like focusing on streaming stuff and just pumping shit out. Like, that's like the one thing about this guy. Like, and again, this is devil's advocate. Like, him recognizing that, oh, we can't just pump productions out into these streamers because they don't make money and they're not bringing people in. X, Y, and Z brings people in, but the rest of the alphabet doesn't. So let's focus on that. Okay, probably a sound business decision, but you don't like start taking shit away and hiding it behind like digital vaults.
Yeah, but here's
like
the thing:
Mrs. Fletcher is no longer on HBO Max.
Yeah.
How do you get that show now? You know?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming they're gonna They're gonna be like, can we make money just selling it to other services or something like that? They're gonna find a way to make money off that shit, but. I guess the question is, so, because like, I would agree on that service, like, it shouldn't be about, it's quality, not quantity, right? Like, it shouldn't be about just pumping out as much shit as possible. But he's like, and that's why we're pivoting to, like, a lot of, like, reality show-based things, right?
Because this guy comes from reality TV.
Yeah, that guy comes from reality TV, but...
So he's full of shit, is the ultimate point we were going to make.
But here's the thing, like, all right, reality TV does have its place in like a business sense, right? Because there's just, you have to fill so many hours on TV every day to appease advertisers, right?
Yes.
And then it's about getting eyeballs, and reality TV is perfect because A, it's cheap, so there's like, you can pay it off really quickly, and then people will just put reality shows on as background noise, right? They aren't things people kind of like, it's not must-see TV. Sure, like there's The Bachelor and shit like that. There's a couple shows that people, most of it is just like, oh, I'm just going to put VH1 on. And whatever, Bad Girls Club, I guess, was a thing they did for a while. And it's like, see?
I missed that one.
It's just, I think so. I have no idea. And it's like, okay, it's just on. It's like, oh, Jersey Shore, it's on. Like, whatever. It doesn't matter. It was cheap. People are watching. But no one's, like, watching it, right? Like, it's not television that you really watch. Right?
I would argue Jersey Shore was. I didn't. Not out of, like, a sense of superiority. Well, maybe at that age.
Well, I'm talking about reality shows in general, right? Like, there's three that, like, kind of will rise to the top, it feels like. But, even then, it's like 90 Day Fiance. I don't think I've met a person in the wild that actually watches that. I'm sure there are people that watch it. I'm sure the numbers aren't lying, but it's not like... And even if they are, they're not coming to me being like, you got to watch 90 Day Fiance. Like... So, if you want to get people... So this pivot to reality TV seems to be the wrong move for a streaming service, right? You watch reality TV because you already have cable and you just need something on, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just like, well, it's better... Like, I don't really have the time to put, like, focus on, like, fucking The Shawshank Redemption that's playing on AMC, or right? Or, like, a scripted TV show. Like, I'm not going to focus, but if I need background noise, I can just put on whatever reality TV show, or Forensic Files. That's the other thing, they're, like, pivoting to true crime stuff, right? Like,
yeah.
Those are, like, passive entertainments, and I think they work on cable. No one is joining a streaming service just to watch those things, right? Mm-hmm. Like, is anyone doing that?
Not that I know of.
So, it's like... I agree with him on the, like, quality over quantity, but you need to be, like, you need to have the must-see... we need to go back to... It seems to me you got to go back to a must-see TV model, which is more expensive, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe they're just not ready for it. Maybe, like, the cost just doesn't make sense and they all jumped into streaming too quickly. But it's, you know, it's like a product launch. It's like you have to support that streaming service.
Yeah, and now they're gonna fold HBO Max and Discovery Plus, which no one has, into like one streaming service, and like this isn't like some revelation; it's just like speculation. But I think we all understand this. Like, instead of having two separate entities that you have to focus on lines going up to make shareholders happy, why not start a new thing? Well, you start at the literal bottom of the barrel, so the line can only go up from there for a while and make you look really good, but people who are sane in reality will just, you know, it'll be harder for them to get a hold of the shit that made HBO Max kind of like comfortable as a streamer. Mm-hmm. There's so many like options you can watch. Like they got fucking TCM on there and Studio Ghibli next to each other, which has made me very happy. Mm-hmm. I just rewatched
their subtitles fucking suck. The subtitles on HBO Max is bad.
That's not great.
Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's like that like it feels like that computer generated shit, and like the timing's all off, and it drives me nuts. So, but yeah, you know, they have a good selection, but I don't know. Maybe the model.
I'm kind of hoping this dude gets ousted before these major shifts happen.
Well, no, they're gonna happen, and then they won't work, and then he gets ousted. Like that's unfortunate. Like fucks everyone over, and then this guy's gonna get a golden parachute, but. That's the business, you know? Mm-hmm. Read the book Hit and Run, everyone, about when John Peters and the other guy took over Sony, and you'll get a look into how Hollywood works, and it still works that way.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the craziest revelation about this, and we'll get back to Prey because this is kind of relevant too. Mm-hmm. Like. No, these same people are making decisions, and they're making decisions in old decisions in a landscape that has long moved past them.
Yeah,
and that might be the next thing that starts killing theaters. And even if this guy is saying like he wants to focus more on them, like it's not going to happen that way.
I think they're going to have to though. I think they're going to have to pivot back to theaters just because they aren't making money through streaming.
No. Yeah, I'm not saying that they won't. Like, I'm saying that they're gonna have to, regardless. But the way this guy's going about it, it's like it's burning too many bridges, and it's working too fast in ways that aren't like sustainable.
Well, yeah, there's that problem, and then they could totally fuck themselves. Where like we could see a mass die off of theaters. I mean, like, isn't like AMC still teetering? Like, it's like the AMC theaters are basically on the fucking brink, and they have been for a while. And if that's the case, then it's like you just killed the only profitable arm of the film industry. Like, and then like, where do you make your money? You know?
Yeah.
And so that could be a problem.
Emily St. James on Twitter had a thread about this recently, where she was saying like, basically this isn't a new point, but everyone recognizes that streaming, while not a mistake, isn't like sustainable by itself, and we've all kind of come back to like a 30-year cycle that recognizes that, like, oh yeah, the most financially stable way of funding movies and TV are theatrical runs for films and ad-sponsored television platforms, and occasionally service bundles for television, like cable packages or a package for several streamers, which stuff like Hulu, ESPN, and Disney Plus like have. You get that bundle. I don't have that bundle, but people like that bundle. I only use Hulu. I'm sorry. I will get Disney Plus for the new Andor show because it's made by Tony Gilroy. So I'll see how long that lasts. But yeah, it's like we're all just coming back to the same point that, like, no, it worked before. We tried this new thing. And then it's also like the tail end of all this fucking tech startup bullshit.
Yeah, tech startup bullshit, and now like a pandemic that has like killed going outside. Like it's
and then another one that's going to kill going outside again.
Yes, and it's like, I mean, it's a weird like razor and blade thing. I think they totally like didn't think about it, where it's like the streaming service is like designed to lose money. It's you're supposed to, you don't sell the razor for a lot of money. You sell the blade for a lot of money, right? But like they're not selling any blades.
It's like, I need to shave.
Yeah, it's just like, but then
please.
Well, it's I mean, it's the thing with like I've been comparing a lot of what's happening right now to like the video game industry and like the history with that, because every video game console that has ever launched, they lose money on the actual console. You know that, right? Like they don't make a profit with the actual consoles. You make the money on the games you sell.
Yeah.
And it seems like they just didn't, I don't know, I guess they just didn't see that like you lose money on the streaming service, but you make money other places. And then if you lose money at streaming, why even have it?
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I think maybe the model of like Amazon, where you actually have to like rent the movies, or like buy them, like outside of Prime, that might be like the only profitable way to make the services work,
Yeah, I guess that's. Yeah, I mean, maybe that'll make like Netflix shows money. Like if you could also buy them like on.
Yeah.
Well, now it can't just be like Apple or Amazon or YouTube. Like they'd all have to come into like new contracts with each other, which I think is probably going to be an even bigger hurdle for them to overcome.
Well, that's why everyone's like walling shit up right now. Like that's slowly starting to happen. Where that's why like Amazon's making that pivot to try to buy MGM. So they can get the. Although like even if they buy it, like the MGM back catalog is like spread over like 20 different companies. So like it's already been gutted like 20 times over.
Yeah, MGM's such a funny company.
It's so weird, and it's like weird because everyone knows it too. Like we all know MGM, we all know that lion. But it's like it hasn't like really existed in a long time, and then like the versions that do exist, it's like they also merged with United Artists at a certain point, so they have like the United Artists catalog, but then even that is like split up all over the place. And yeah, MGM is, and then there's like then there's like the MGM Grand Casino, where it's like, where does that fit in? Or there it used to be the Disney MGM Hollywood Studios. Remember that?
No, I don't.
Disney World, they have the Hollywood Studios land, which is where Star Wars Land is at Disney World. It used to be called the Disney MGM Hollywood Studio. And they made some...
Yeah, that really rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it's great. And they made some deal with... whoever owned the back catalog of MGM films. And that's why, like, the Great Movie Ride, which no longer exists... You would ride it and it would be like half Disney films and half MGM movies. So it's like Wizard of Oz and like I think Casablanca's in there or some shit. Like it was a weird one, and they only did it because they really wanted the Wizard of Oz shit to be in the park. Like that's really the main reason why they did it. Disney desperately wants to get a hold of the Wizard of Oz. They've tried like 7 times to do their own, but yeah, MGM is strange. MGM is so strange.
Oh, they should just get Sam Raimi to do a version of The Wizard of Oz for them.
All right, here's a good example of how fucked up the MGM thing is. So in 1985, Disney and Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer entered into a licensing contract that gave Disney worldwide rights to use the MGM brand and logo for what became Disney MGM Studios. In 1988, MGM UA responded by filing a lawsuit. So it's like there's two entities, like two separate MGMs, and they're suing each other. Oh, MGM. Oh.
Much like how the predator hunts its prey.
Yeah. All that Predator stuff was so engaging.
It was. I thought the Predator.
Remember when the Predator shows up and it's like at first you're like, oh, it's cool. You hear the ship. That's actually a neat way to do it. And like she thinks it's the Thunderbird, and it's like, all right, that's actually kind of interesting. And then they just cut to a shot of a spaceship flying away and the Predator just standing there, center frame, the camera's locked down. It's like there's nothing really special about that shot.
It's actually funny you said that. I won't say who. I don't know if they want to be named, but someone was mentioning to me like, no, these first 15 minutes, I'm really liking it. And I went to bed, and then I woke up, and they're like, so I like the first 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. And it's like, did you at least like the opening stuff?
I liked the opening, as in I probably liked the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Oh, okay.
And then I was like, there's a moment because I texted you while I was watching it, and I asked you if it was in, because I had heard it was in another. There's a version that's in another language. I was watching the English version, right?
Yes.
And so I asked you, and you informed me that there is a version that is dubbed into Comanche, correct?
Yes.
And I texted you because I just assumed, I'm like, this is like clanking hard. Like I wasn't like off of it, but I'm like nothing. Like it's not really working. It's not clicking, and it's not taking off at all. And I'm like, maybe Diego saw the version that was in Comanche, and maybe that version like plays better than the English version, which is why I texted you. And then I was like, nope. And it's like, okay, maybe it was because he saw it in theaters. And I'm like, or maybe. And then I was like, okay, maybe like, all right, this is like a lot of table setting. Maybe like the first like 15 to 20 minutes of it are going to be just kind of awkward, and then once the movie kicks in, it's going to be really good. And it honestly felt like it was going to go that way. There's a moment that really worked where she wakes up the following morning after failing to hunt the mountain lion, and there's kind of a moment where she can decide to follow the other women into the field, or go do what she wants. And like she's like they make it very specific where she looks out of the teepee and she sees them all going into the fields, and she sees the woman carrying the crying baby on her back, and it's like, and she's like, fuck that. Like she doesn't say that, which is what makes it good. And she immediately gets her weapons and then just heads off, and there's a good shot of her walking against the grain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
I really like that.
That's a really good visual moment. It's like, okay, it's about to go, and then it didn't. And yeah,
I'm like really surprised that you say it, because I think it's like really well directed. Like there's a lot of sequences like that I'm
there are a lot of bright moments. They are overwhelmed by the moments that just do not work. There is, and the reason why I say do not work is because you can watch it and you go like, this should work, and then it just doesn't. And I think part of that has to do with maybe they just didn't have the financial support behind it. I thought that the Predator in his like camouflage looked really cheap and bad a lot of the time, and wasn't engaging to look at, frankly. There's a shot in it which should be like the money shot of the movie, frankly, where he kills that bear, right? Mm-hmm. And then the blood starts dripping on the Predator, and that's like how the first time she like sees that there's an invisible creature there. That should have been awesome, and it's just kind of really lame and flat and boring. And there's a lot of shots like that where I'm like, why isn't this awesome? Like, this is, on paper, this is great. If I were to come here and to describe every individual moment, it would sound like the fucking coolest movie ever, but watching it, it is not that. And maybe it has to do with it playing at home, but a movie still should work at home to some capacity.
Yeah, like my defense of it will not be a theaters versus TV viewing thing, because as I rewatched it, it was just going to be kind of in the background. I was like, no, I still think this kind of kicks ass, like, a lot. Mm-hmm. The blood does not look great.
It looks
and
really
I also
bad.
have to mention that I think people were kind of worried that another Predator movie was just going to reference like the original quips and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they do a ton. And they don't
just do the one. They
do it like 3 times, and then
what the fuck are you talking about?
Visually hits all the visual beats of the other Predator films, which is the same as doing quoting dialogue.
No, it's not the same.
It's the fucking same, because this is the 7th Predator film, and I think 7 of them end up playing out this way, and. There's a big narrative problem here that the movie never solves, and I think most of the Predator films don't solve, which is that after the first movie, we all show up knowing what movie we're about to see, right? We all know, and then we have to wait for the characters to figure it out. And it's very difficult to make that engaging, and this movie fails to make that engaging. It turns into a really frustrating story where our main character is kind of like I saw something strange and no one believes her, which is frustrating for her, and it just turns into frustration for the audience. It doesn't feel like a triumphant thing if she can prove what's going on, especially because she also doesn't know what's going on. She's just kind of like slightly a step ahead of people, so it's just like kind of double frustration. It would have been a better movie, frankly, if they were all kind of aware that something was up, but they don't know what it is. Almost like the first movie, where they spend most of that movie thinking they're being chased by like kind of really, really tough gorillas of some kind. And then even when they put together that it is not human, they don't immediately like start to figure it out. It leads to a very strong narrative weakness to the first half of this movie. And it never really recovers from that.
Does that happen, in your opinion, because you know going in it's a Predator movie, or is it a problem if you didn't know it was a Predator movie? I promise I have a point to this.
I don't know. I really don't.
Okay.
I think maybe if it was like a movie you put on like the Sci-Fi Channel, like at like 2 a.m, and you're like, oh, what's this movie? And then it's like, oh, surprise, it was a Predator film. Like, maybe that could be fun. But that's not what this movie is. So,
in December of 2019, the film's production was under wrap. There was no other Predator film announced after Shane Black's, right?
Mm-hmm.
This production went by the name of Skulls. It followed a Comanche woman who goes against gender norms and traditions to become a warrior.
Mm-hmm.
That is the premise of this film still.
Yeah. And that stuff is really like one note and bad. Like,
no.
On paper, that's a really good idea. They don't know what to do with it, and it just kind of makes it feel like it's a modern movie that they just kind of took Comanche aesthetic for. They don't really. We never.
I will say one of my criticisms of the film is that I wish I got a better understanding of the community more than just the warrior stuff. Mm-hmm. Not that like it needs like to be mapped out. This is one of the only. I think this is the only Predator film that doesn't have like a massive ensemble.
Yeah.
That the Predator gets to chip away at, which I do think makes some of the kills less like exciting.
I think that hurts the movie too.
I think it does a little bit. I don't need to defend it already. I've talked about it like on 3 fucking podcasts. But here's why I bring this up. In November of 2020, do you remember what happened?
No.
Okay, well, it got leaked to the public. Like some people on like the AVP Galaxy servers and stuff like that were aware of it.
Was it going... I'm looking at the Wikipedia article, so...
Okay, yeah. It was going to be released as, like, Skulls or whatever titled movie.
And it was going to be, surprise, it's the Predator, like...
Yes. It was not always planned to be promoted as a Predator movie.
Okay,
It got leaked on such a massive level that they were like, fuck it, let's just...
Then why is there a shot 10 minutes in this movie that is just the Predator standing there?
I think that's a reshoot.
Is that a reshoot?
That's what I think.
It's a very noticeable
have evidence of this.
It's a very bad one. It's almost like the worst shot in the movie, and it was enough to make me go, "Ooh, what's going on here?" I don't know when I fully turned on it though. I'm trying to think about that. I think I got pretty far where I was kind of like, "When is this going to get good?" I think when the French fur trappers slaughter happened, and I'm like, "Well, at least I'm going to enjoy these guys getting killed." And then it was kind of lame, and then that was really heavy on the CGI blood, and I was like, this isn't good.
I am
there was like
shocked.
there was
That's
like
my
one
favorite part of
kill.
the movie.
There was like one kill on there that was really good. But
I love the bear trap one. He just
Yeah.
fucking picked up the bear trap and
That
throws
was-
it at that dude's fucking head.
that was the one I kind of liked. But even that had like a CGI tint to it that like there was no tactility to it. Like it just kind of like, all right.
I'm gonna quote my boy Vice Victus.
No,
from
but all right,
Acting
no,
for Everyone,
fuck,
who,
before-
no.
No,
This is
I have a
important.
point
It's
to make
agreeing
about.
with you.
I have a point
it's
to
agreeing with you
make
about the CGI.
I have a point to make about the skulls thing first.
Okay.
Remember when the Blair Witch was just the woods or whatever like that, and people got surprised and they responded really well, and then the movie came out and it was bad.
Yeah.
So like that's what happened. Like that's what this movie is. Like it's Blair Witch.
That probably was like the initial plan for this. Like, oh, come see Skulls at Comic-Con. Like if that leak didn't happen.
Yeah. So.
And I probably would have liked it even more. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
It's how they get you.
All right, and here's something I will say that I think maybe is why you liked it more, and this is not really the movie's fault, but you saw this at Comic-Con, correct?
I did.
And because you were busy Comic-Con weekend, you had to wait to see Nope. So you saw Nope after Prey.
I did see Nope after.
I saw Nope
Prey.
twice before Prey, and Nope is like one of the best made blockbusters of recent memory. And it's kind of like, oh, here's the standard we should be giving these movies going forward. Like this like movies should meet this mark. Like this shouldn't be an anomaly. Like not to downplay Jordan Peele, he's great, but like that's what movies should be at least aiming for. And then to watch something like Prey, which isn't even in the same fucking ballpark visually, it was a real buzzkill. It's not fair to the movie I'm comparing to what is my favorite movie of the year so far, but they are similar in a lot of their DNA, and one knows exactly how to visually reveal itself to the audience and also have intellectual heft behind it, and this movie had none of that. So
I think there's still plenty of like ideas,
like what
in Prey, like I mean, because the whole like Predator like iconography at this point, and we've all kind of like assembled this mythology about it being like, oh, it's like imperialism. It's like they're like the white slavers of space. They're like the white hunters, you know, going around just like big game hunting.
Yeah, but that's fan
fear.
theory. That's fan theories.
It totally is. It totally is. But I think
fiction.
this movie understands that that's like the narrative we've built around.
I
the
honestly
franchise,
thought that's
and it
what
leans
was going
into
to
it.
click with the French fur trappers, and it just didn't.
I think it does. It's just like
I think a part of the problem is the design of the Predator, which is not. I'm not even criticizing this film. That's just like the whole series. The Predator here actually looks really good. I really like the design of it, but I think there's something to its otherness, and it's a very. I mean, it's a callback to how maybe we used to depict Africans in old adventure novels. It's
dated. I will say
and
that.
I think
I'll
that,
to that
kills any sort of argument that like, oh, these are actually kind of cheeky stories about imperialism. I think maybe the first Predator has that, where it's kind of a movie about those sorts of things, but I don't think any of the sequels have been able to tap into it.
I would heavily argue Predator 2
or
has
Predator
it.
2, which just gets deeply racist, and for some reason, Twitter is just like...
It takes place in the Frank Miller universe.
It takes place in the urban jungle, which is a thing people used to say. And film Twitter is like, we're actually fine and cool with that. For some reason.
That's not what they're saying.
That's what film Twitter is saying.
No, it's not.
Because a lot of people this week have been like, actually, there are no bad Predator films. Which a lot of people have been saying this week.
Okay, look, I like all of them. Guys, come on.
Well, here's the thing. No. Like, look, the other one I really like is like Predators, which is also a movie that like mostly works on paper. You know, like Predators is another one where I'm like, you tell me the premise of Predators, I'm like, you just told me the greatest film of all time, and then I watch it and it's not that. And Prey has the same fucking problem. Of like, you tell me on paper that that's what Prey's about. I'm like, that sounds like, once I heard, because actually for whatever reason I missed the news that there was even another Predator movie in development, and then like I think when the first trailer dropped, I was like, oh shit, there's a new Predator movie, and it's like, oh, it's them versus like Comanche warriors. Like that sounds like the greatest idea ever if it's not racist, and I'll give it that. The movie's not racist. At least I don't think. I'm not smart enough to talk about it, but
Hey, but look, on a first pass, it doesn't seem racist, and that's better than like a lot of this other shit.
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, if there is like racism here, it's like really stuff that's like deep that like I just wouldn't have picked up on anyway. But it just never works, man. It never like I said, it not only does it not take off, it never even lands.
Well, so you like Predators more than this?
I don't know. I think this is a movie that's making me kind of realize I just maybe don't like the Predator films. That like I think it worked that one time, and then
less so for the sequel, but still fun.
And then the Predator 2's bad.
No, that's awesome.
Predators, like I liked when I saw. Again, I liked Predators when I saw it in theaters, and then like every time I revisited it, it's like no. And then like the Predator is another one where it's like that got butchered, so maybe there's a Shane Black cut that works. But also like I kind of realized how much the more you reveal about the Predator, the less interesting they become, and that movie was initially going to be like a lot about that, you know. And AVP is terrible. AVPR is kind of like a schlock masterpiece. But yeah, it's, I don't know, man. I think the Predator stuff just maybe isn't as interesting as like everyone keeps going like, why can't they make it work? And I think the answer is you just can't. Like it worked one time and you can't recapture it. So we should just stop trying at this point. They never will. But yeah, and I don't know. I could have used a little more of what's going on with the Comanches, and I could have used a little more that, like, I guess maybe they wanted to avoid certain pitfalls that would have felt like kind of like exoticizing them, you know, which I think other movies do. This is ultimately a movie made by white filmmakers, you know, and even though there's nothing racist in the movie, it still feels like that. I mean, it doesn't feel like, I don't know. I was also kind of baffled by the choice. There's the ceremony they do if like you hunt something, right? And there's like chanting involved. I didn't understand the choice to like kind of lower the audio on the chanting, but like have the score take over. I didn't really understand that choice. I'm like, shouldn't we want to feel a part of the culture while we're watching the movie a little bit? And maybe they were trying to avoid, you know, like again, like maybe that is like such a thing that like you kind of maybe don't want to hit that beat because that's something that people, when they think indigenous people, that's what they think. But yeah, I didn't get a sense. I did honestly, you know what it is? It's also that thing of the whole like a young woman who like wants to be a warrior instead of a healer or whatever. I don't know enough about Comanche culture to know like how gender dynamics worked, and maybe I could have used a better look into that with this movie, because we do know from studying indigenous peoples that those sort of defined gender roles are not a guarantee. And the fact that they just kind of assume that this is going to be a truth kind of like rubbed me the wrong way. And maybe it was, but I felt like there wasn't really enough there. The other characters, other than her brother, are like really one note and are frustrating. And that's this movie. This movie's frustrating.
See, I agree with like the thinness of the other characters. I really like her relationship with the brother.
She's a good performer. She's a good. I don't want to say I'm not like attacking the actress. She does her job well. When it's just her, a lot of the time, like the movie kind of really works when it's just her on the track, right? Like that kind of sequence kind of works the best. But then she keeps kind of falling in with different people, and then it's like a constant stopping and starting, and it maybe would have worked better had we not seen the Predator before that point. I feel like the movie felt the need to show the Predator too early. Yeah, it's. I think it's kind of a mess. The brother's also fine. Like the performances are all good. I'm not going to come here and complain about the performances. It's just
I want to shout out Dakota Beavers, who plays Tabe, her brother. This is his first movie.
He's good. He's really good.
He's really good.
That.
Please don't fucking just like ignore these people, because this movie's rocking like a 90%
Yeah, it's getting
Tomatoes,
good.
and like I don't give a shit about that, but that does make people pay attention in the industry, unfortunately.
And I want to say,
now, this could be a fortunate situation where they actually hire talented people now.
I didn't like hate the movie either. Like, it's really it's a very strong, close but no cigar movie. I think my frustration is just kind of the realization that maybe Predator just doesn't work, and like we should just stop. And like it's 7 films at this point. One of them worked, so like let's stop. And
you're including AVP with that, right?
I'm including AVP, and I am including AVPR, which like is a movie that I like, but also I'm not like. I like it because it finally gets the Predator right. Like the Predator is almost incidental in that movie.
Yeah, the Predator operates differently than every other movie in the franchise in that movie,
and so
which is why I like the Predator stuff in that movie too.
Yeah, maybe that's why, but it's also like it doesn't really feel like a Predator film. But yeah, it's so I think it's an incredibly fine movie. I will never watch it again.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna watch it again this weekend.
Watch Nope again, fuckers.
I've seen Nope 4 fucking times.
Yeah, go a 5th time.
I'm gonna.
Who gives a fuck? That's a great
movie.
Look,
I'm not pitting this up against Nope because I don't think most movies stand up against Nope.
Which is bad, frankly.
Yes, but I just mean like in history. Like I think it's one of the best blockbusters ever.
It's what movies could be. It's what blockbusters could be, and we're just not letting it. And Prey.
Yeah, but it's also fucking like it really upset me.
Yeah, but Prey is another example of just like the shallowness of the modern blockbuster filmmaking.
No,
even when you show up with all the right ideas and all the tools and gadgets at your disposal, that doesn't mean you can do it. Maybe you got to give these people more time to fucking make the movie. Maybe you got to be more honest. Maybe the goal shouldn't be hitting an end date. Maybe the goal should be, hey, this shot didn't work. Let's try it again. It's going to take more time. Going to take more money. But maybe that's what you should be doing. And if you can't do that,
I will say,
if you can't do that, don't make the movie.
I will say the one thing that you have going against you is that they did have time to make this movie. This had like a 2-month shoot date that extended a little further.
Well, that's just embarrassing then.
It sounds like it was a tough shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Trachtenberg and Amber Midthunder were talking about it on the in the Q&A after the premiere, and Dan Trachtenberg still looked fucking like exhausted. Like I think the movie just finished a little before that.
It does
that
feel
premiere.
like this might have been made by a tired person.
Well, he's had this idea with his screenwriter Patrick Asen since like 2016. So I bet they are really excited about it, and I'm also betting that they're really glad it's over now.
Yeah.
It does. I want to talk about some other things I really liked. Again, the cast is fantastic. I think Amber Midthunder's kind of...
I think I know one of the things you're going to talk about, but I won't say it. I'm going to see if you bring it up.
Okay, well, she's kind of ready to be a star,
She is. I hope we see more of her. She's good in it.
Yeah. The score, I think, is terrific. I think the score by Sarah Schachner, I think. I this is the first I've heard her stuff. She did some stuff for... she did some programming music for Iron Man 3, so she kind of like assisted with the compositions. But mostly she does video game work. Well, a lot of Assassin's Creed, which makes a lot of sense, frankly, and some Call of Duties, and then something called Anthem.
Oh, remember Anthem?
Oh my God!
You don't remember Anthem? You weren't joking?
What the fuck?
You weren't joking? Holy shit! You don't remember Anthem?
No, I don't.
That was like a disaster.
Oh, apparently, because it's BioWare and EA, and I hadn't fucking heard of it.
Yeah, it was one of those where it's like it was going to be one of those like oh god, I don't even know what like live services games where like it's constantly getting updates, kind of like what's that Bungie game? Destiny 2.
Destiny.
Yeah. It was going to be
a lot of people seem to like.
A lot of people seem to like it, but it was supposed to have that same model, and it didn't work, and they stopped supporting it like February last year. So.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, BioWare might be getting shut down soon. Like
that last Mass Effect that they're working on right now is kind of going to be a make or break moment for them. And as someone who loves the trilogy, I'm not like holding my breath.
Are they making another Mass Effect?
Yeah, they announced it like 2 years ago.
Okay, well they did that Andromeda, which like bombed, and
which speaking of things that have like great premises that disappoint people, like to me, like a standalone Mass Effect game is kind of like
but you can't do that after 3. They fuck themselves. The way 3 ends is an end to a franchise. Like, I'm sorry. Like, whatever you feel about that ending, it's not something you can make sequels to.
Yeah,
And
which I'm like fine with. I guess it's like it's a side story. I haven't played Andromeda yet. That's the big revelation here. But like it's a story about like a ship that sent itself into hiding during the Reaper
invasion. It went to the Andromeda galaxy before shit went down. Like,
okay,
that's the setup.
And I'm like, okay, if you, like that's like your one
Which
shot
just
to
raises
do like a
further
side
questions
story.
about what the fuck the Reapers were up to. But hey,
yeah, but whatever.
Well, but here's the thing: they also put out the Legendary Edition of the Mass Effect trilogy, which is kind of like a remake, kind of those games, like the remasters. And now they're doing the same with Knights of the Old Republic.
Not anymore.
Oh, did they cancel it?
It's held indefinitely. Something happened. I don't know what happened, but I saw a lot of reports about that, and I don't know if that one's still happening, which also bodes poorly for BioWare.
Yeah, I thought that because it felt like that's what was happening at this point, is that they were just gonna do remakes of their games for the time being, because that would make people money. It says here it's been delayed like 3 years, which
they're gonna remake the entire game.
Oh, is a different studio even doing it? So maybe that's a whole other thing.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I mean,
but still, it doesn't. That's not like a great sign.
Yeah, but I also don't need a remake of Knights of the Old Republic.
No, neither do I. Here's something else that's.
I guess that's my point. Was just like it feels like BioWare is just getting scrapped for parts these days.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. But speaking of stuff that is no longer supportive, video game wise, there's the great AVP2 game from 2001 that you cannot purchase from anywhere. You have to search online, and fans have taken all the bits and pieces of the game and uploaded it for free on the internet, and it's a real fun game. The Predator stuff is super fucking fun. Playing as a xenomorph is really exciting for about an hour. And the Space Marine stuff is some of the stupidest shit I've ever heard written, but also very fucking fun. So,
what is this AVP2 game? Was it released for PC? What was it?
It was released for PC. I don't know if it was released for anything else, but it's a great action game. Like, it's legitimately a great first-person shooter game. And then first-person tackle game, because the alien doesn't shoot anything. You just eat people, which is why it's the most boring part of the game. But whatever, it's still cool. But really, the Predator stuff is just like fucking badass. Like you're fighting Space Marines. You're kind of like, instead of like hunting like the white whale, you're kind of hunting like a mercenary general who trapped you like in a prison for like 5 years or some shit. Like it's kind of fucking hardcore, and you can tell it was made by like a bunch of fucking nerds who like also really love Predator shit. Frankly, I kind of want to see the Predator fight like Space Marines at some point. I know you don't give a shit anymore, but I think one of the benefits of Prey in terms of like the franchise is that it kind of won back a lot of people who were like, oh, they made another good one finally. I've seen some people call it the best one, which is just to calm fucking down. That's insane. That's not.
But we're not doing Predator, that. Does Predator just have the Sonic cycle at this point?
Maybe.
Like, I'm starting to feel like that's what's happening.
I don't know, maybe, but Sonic had a good game in like a long time?
No, but like every time a new one drops, there's like kind of a moment where people are like, this one's done it. It's fucking redeemed the franchise.
Oh.
And then it's like...
That's... Okay, but that hasn't happened with Predator at all until like right now.
I don't know. Predator's had a good response.
Predators had a decent response.
But, like,
I remember that not blowing the world up either.
Yeah, but I remember people were like, you don't understand, they fucking corrected it. And then, like, nothing really happened.
Yeah, it was like a success, too.
And then also, like, Sonic, it's either that or, like, a fucking notorious disaster like The Predator.
Yeah, which I still want that Shane Black cut. I know the effects aren't done, But it could be a fun movie if you just kept all the pieces in. Fred Dekker, the co-writer, also the co-writer of Monster Squad and fucking Shadow Company.
You know what really fucked us, and it's like not even his fault really. It's Zack Snyder's Justice League. Like they put all that money into like restoring it, right? Which I believe like was a lot of his own money, but I think Warner Brothers still put a lot of money into it.
He scrapped a paycheck for himself and just used the money to complete the film,
which is totally that's cool and admirable, you know. And this again, it's not. I'm not blaming him, and I'm not blaming the movie.
No, but the studio does look at that not working. And
I think that not working has meant like that. There's like all this stuff sitting on shelves that they're like, well, we're not even going to bother with that. Yeah. Like had it hit, we would have gotten Shane Black's The Predator.
Yeah, Shane Black pitched to the studio because the original finale and the back half of the movie mostly took place during the day. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the release version takes place at night for a traditional hunting finale, which was not their plan initially, which I talked about on the retrospective. Go check it out, to the 2018's Predator. And he pitched the studio like, oh, we could do on the Blu-ray release for special features Predator AM and Predator PM, you know. And it's kind of like the trashy vibe of that movie. It's like, okay, it's like you're kind of getting some fucking pizza scraps at 7-Eleven at midnight, and you're like, yeah, this rocks. And then you wake up the next day and you're like, that was bad for me. Mm-hmm. But it's really fun while you're eating it. That's kind of the vibe of that movie.
Hits you the next
studio
morning.
Was like, no.
When I like make bad decisions with my diet like that, it usually hits me like 5 minutes after I finish eating.
Okay, yeah, maybe that. But here, I bring up Fred Dekker also and the 2018 Predator because Fred Dekker on Facebook has been very public about like how disappointed him and Shane Black were because they weren't really responsible for like, especially the stinger at the end with like the Iron Man Predator suit. They were like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, I think
like, that wasn't them.
I think everyone understands that at this point. But yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, well, he was just. I just got to say this because he seems like a humble guy on Facebook at least. Which I'm only saying through screen caps. Maybe he's like an anti-vaxxer or some shit. I don't know.
We don't know.
But he was thanking a fan who said that they liked the movie but hated the ending with the suit, and he says like, "Thank you, Steven. That means a lot. We live in a culture that's so like cacophonous. We sometimes cling to our opinions as our only voice in the din. We're so married to our childhood memories of things we love that when the formula is contradicted, some feel betrayed by any attempt to take a different approach. In all candor, I have a lot of issues with the movie. I also hate the supersuit ending, but I spent 3 years on it, and to have it trashed by fans who don't have the first clue how hard it is to get anything on screen, it hurts. So thank you." And that it was a mutual decision that they veered away from the big like Predator action hybrid, where it would have been like a car chase movie like Fury Road for the last half hour with like a bunch of mutant Predator monsters and shit. You could see all the designs online, and they're like, ADI did some fantastic design work. Like, put these monsters in like another movie. Like, they look that good. And Fred Dekker also says, like, you know, kind of wish he made a more predictable, like, traditional Predator movie with their own, like, flavor and seasoning of Black and Decker along the way. Because they felt like it got too unwieldy at a certain point. And I just kind of respect that that introspection from him, you know. I didn't want a traditional Predator movie from them, but I would have liked a completed one, I guess. And I think that's why I like Prey a lot, too. It is like a complete standalone film made by a bunch of talented people who came together and made a movie that I think works significantly better than you're suggesting. I also got to shout out the cinematographer.
Prey, people put a lot of work into it. People clearly had a passion. People tried their best. This was not no one phoned it in. This isn't a cheap cash grab. I hope Dan Trachtenberg gets more movies. I hope everyone involved has a good career. No one will be talking about this movie a year from now.
We will see.
No one will be talking about this movie a year
I'll be talking about it. But I talk about Predator all the fucking time because I have no life.
People are insane.
Cinematographer Jeff Cutter, who worked with Dan Trachtenberg on 10 Cloverfield Lane and a couple other stuff.
The same guy who did this did 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah.
That's what happened, man.
Well, I think both him and Dan Trachtenberg understand that, like, shooting in scope, that wide CinemaScope aspect ratio, I think they understand how to use it. It's not just like You know, like Robert Rodriguez calls it the budget button. You make the black bars pop up and it looks like more cinematic. Robert Rodriguez knows how to frame a shot, and these guys know how to frame a shot.
If they understood how to use it, why didn't they use it that way?
Boo. Boo.
This movie's like already like, left my brain. Like, I'm sorry, it's not very good. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, well.
And also, if the movie wanted to kill any goodwill that I had, the fucking flintlock pistol thing at the end was kind of like, all right, whatever, man.
I didn't need that, but I liked it.
Yeah, whatever.
The Predator 2 heads went fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's me. I'm the Predator 2 head.
No, there's a lot of you idiots out there.
No, Predator 2 fucking rocks. I do want Predators versus like Pirates at some point. But
I think
that might be too expensive.
You know what? Fuck this. Just it doesn't work. I'm sorry. Like the Predator in Predator plus X, it just doesn't work. It didn't work here. It hasn't worked in any of the other movies. It worked.
This and Predator 2 are the only ones that did it.
It worked the one time. It worked for one movie, and that's because that's a movie that's an action movie that like suddenly turns into a sci-fi horror film. It's all right. You want to know what my pitch? If I were to do a Predator film,
sure, and then we can wrap up. And I have
here's
one final.
Here's the only thing I think that would work, but it would also kill the franchise, which is what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
You make a movie about the filming of Predator. Oh my God. And Predator was initially just going to be kind of a generic action movie about like Arnold going in and fucking up Contras and shit.
Exactly what you're about to say.
But then a Predator showed up, and they just were like, "Well, fuck it, let's put it in the movie." It's like it turns out Predator was John McTiernan's Fitzcarraldo, like that's the movie.
I was gonna say Fitzcarraldo or Shadow of the Vampire.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and so that's what the movie is.
No, that could be fucking. Honestly,
you know what? I am kind of. I want to say, like, I'm making a joke. I'm kind of stealing a bit from James Adomian, the comedian, because he does a fucking fantastic Jesse Ventura impression. And he did one where he was like, "I've seen the Predators. I saw them. Like, that was the movie. We lost control of the production." Like. He was implying that it was real, like
I was a governor.
I was a governor, a Navy SEAL.
What a fucking. No, you know what? I completely agree with you now. Just because none of the Predator sequels have fucking insane cast members like that anymore.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Put Bill Burr in a Predator
he honestly feels like a guy who would like show up in a Predator movie.
Yeah.
But hey.
Oh, he's got a nice round skull too. So, you know, for the spine rip, it would look cool.
It would look great.
Yeah. That's the weirdest thing anyone's ever said about Bill Burr. I'm so sorry.
I don't know where that came from, but hey.
I don't know either. Bill Burr, I'm a fan. Come on my podcast. Okay, the last thing, and then we can wrap up. You don't like it. I like it a lot. There are plans, if it is successful, I don't know how you deem something successful on streaming service anymore, but there are discussions for additional installments being developed for post-release of Prey. And
it won't happen.
Dan Trachtenberg said that the intent was to do things that have never been done before in the franchise. Don't know what that means anymore because they've tried that a couple times, and now I agree with you and I say that doesn't work either.
Yeah.
Matt, thanks for joining me. I had to kind of drag you into this one because you were like, okay.
Nah, I'm putting my flag down. Maybe I will feel different in a year because I will say, you know what? The another movie where I had like the same sinking feeling while watching was Malignant, which is a movie that everyone loves, and I keep going like I need to revisit Malignant because like clearly like maybe I just wasn't in the right frame of mind when I watched it, you know. And that's one where I'm willing to kind of give it. I don't see it here though, and I will say I was literally thinking about revisiting Malignant like the day before I watched Prey, and after watching it, I'm like maybe I was right about Malignant. So I want to get that out of my head before I try again.
You know what? I don't know if I like Malignant more than Prey. but I like both a lot, and
that's
you should give them both another
possibly
shot.
the worst endorsement for Malignant you could give me right now, because you fucking like everything. So
No. That's definitely
and to
not
be like
true.
it's not as good as fucking whatever the fuck.
No, it's definitely not true. You know why? Because I just saw fucking Uncharted like last month.
Mm-hmm.
That movie's...
Yeah, but that's not a real movie.
It doesn't feel like it, no.
Most movies released today aren't real. I'll give Prey this. It is a real movie.
There you go.
Like,
see?
it's a real movie, but like it's again. I just happened to. I think Nope really is what kneecapped this fucking thing. Because Nope shows what movies should be doing, and Prey is kind of like you got the spirit, but not the hot.
No, you know what it is too. I've been avoiding movies. I'm like, I don't think that looks good. I feel like I should stay away from that. Mm-hmm. Like, are you gonna watch Bullet Train in the theater?
I am, but that's not my decision.
Oh, okay.
Not my decision.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, but I also want it to be like a success because it's not like it's not an original idea. It's based on a book,
mm-hmm.
but Hollywood will see it as an original idea. So I do want it to be a success,
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna go out and watch it myself.
Mm-hmm. No, I
know better now.
I stopped going to see movies I thought looked bad like years ago.
Like I'm barely getting around to it, and it's working out really well. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. That was why I didn't see Jurassic World opening weekend because I saw those previews and I'm like, that looks bad. And then everyone said, no, it's actually good.
Should we do Jurassic World Dominion?
Why?
I don't know.
What possible reason would we cover that?
I just I need to know about these locusts everyone talks about. Do they actually take up 90% of the screen time? Are there really only 5 minutes of dinosaurs?
That's pretty funny if that's true.
That's fucking hysterical.
How fucking and then you know what? That's Colin Trevorrow being a coward. Because what he does is he does that and he's like, this is going to upset people. Like he knows it will,
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, so then when people criticize the movie, he's like, they just couldn't handle what I was doing. And it's like, no, the movie sucked. Like, if it had been a good movie with locusts, like, I would be pure championing it, frankly. But it's not. And then, you didn't deliver on what you should have just obviously done, and then what you did instead was bad as well. So, what a dope. Fuck Hollywood, man.
Yeah.
How much has Dominion made? I'm gonna upset myself right now.
Are you gonna Google it, or do you want me to look it up?
I'm looking it up.
Okay.
World Dominion
I think it's under $1 billion still.
Has made $950 million. Okay.
Ooh, that's cutting it real close though.
And Nope has made $89.5 million. So,
well, to be fair for Nope, it has not released internationally yet.
Yep. I'm sure that's part of it. And not the idiocy of the general American public.
Well, I'm sure some of it's idiocy, but like I saw this movie with normal people each time, and they all responded very positively to it.
I'm not talking about fuck Prey. I'm talking about Nope.
No, yeah, Nope. Right. Sorry.
About to fucking strangle you.
No.
Well, no, Nope is a movie that if you give it to people, they will like it. But like people just aren't going to it because they're like, I like dinosaurs. You fuck.
Well, I think it's Jurassic World and Top Gun are kind of like running away with the box office right now.
Embarrassing, frankly.
Yeah.
Embarrassing.
Well, I haven't seen Top Gun yet.
Top Gun's bad.
Again, you're like one of the only people that said that.
Say it's
this
good
and
or
Prey.
wrong.
Quentin Tarantino's wrong about something?
Yeah. I mean, look, at least Top Gun Maverick, like the jet shit looked great. Like I will give that movie that,
Mm-hmm.
But it is not a movie worth watching, really. But Top Gun's not a good movie either, so I don't know what the fuck. Like I said, Nope really like reinvigorated my love of movies, and like it took fucking Prey, one movie.
No, just watch Nope again, because Nope is so fucking terrific.
We live in hell.
Matt and I are going to talk about Jordan Peele stuff soon.
A cinematic just hellscape.
No. Okay, now I know you're talking.
Hellstar Hollywood.
Hey, that's a great idea.
Yeah, but
although maybe Nope is kind of that already.
Nope, because it did feel very inspired by that.
Yeah,
not like
Ito.
in terms of like 1-to-1. It's just like spiritually, it feels like a Junji Ito story.
Yeah,
but
it also is deeply upsetting, like a Junji Ito story.
Yeah. But Jordan Peele also is a crowd pleaser, which is why that movie doesn't just end on a deeply upsetting note.
Yes.
Which is what a Junji Ito story does.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just like, oh, I guess that's how Army of One ends. And now I just have to sit here and think about that for a while.
I mean, I had very long productive conversations about Nope, even though it didn't end on the most upsetting note possible.
Yeah. No, that's why Jordan Peele's a master. Like, we gotta recognize this fucking guy. Like, before it's too fucking late. Like, no one should be able to pull off what he's doing, honestly. Like, every other person that has tried to do what he's doing, like, they have to either kind of abandon their intellectual honesty to be entertaining, or they have to just kind of be like a really bleak movie. And he finds the middle passage, which is a very, very challenging thing to do. And he deserves more respect for it. And I hope Nope keeps making money. Please keep going to see it. It's great.
And then when you get home, watch Prey.
No, when you get home, just buy your next tickets for your next screening of Nope. And then sit there with your thoughts, because you'll get more out of just thinking about Nope than actually watching Prey.
This is not to disregard Prey at all, but I kind of agree with you.
Yeah.
But I get more out of Nope than, like most things in life right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so fucking good.
It's what movies could be, and we shouldn't be asking for any less.
You should, I think, like you said earlier, you should be trying to, like, achieve that with every movie.
Yeah, like I'm saying, I need to feel like a movie's achieving that, and, like, Prey, for whatever it is, it's, like, had a lot of gumption. It wasn't going for that. And I would have forgiven a lot of things that I felt it was reaching further, but I think it's all premise, almost. Like, they were like, here's a cool premise, here's some cool ideas. We can't execute any of them well, but this is what we got. And, yeah, so.
Prey. Do you want to recommend it?
I would not.
Okay.
I guess
I'd recommend it.
All right, here's what I will honestly say. You might like Prey if you haven't seen Nope yet. So if you haven't seen Nope, I guess watch Prey first, but you really should see Nope.
You should see Nope regardless. Take that away from this podcast.
Well, yeah, the other take is that if you have seen Nope, just see Nope again.
Maybe sneak a Prey viewing in there.
No. Just see Nope again.
I want sequels to this one.
Well, it's too fucking bad. It's not going to happen. Like, even if I wanted them to, I just have to resign to that.
Well, we'll see.
Whatever needle they want to go up on Hulu is not going to go up because of Prey.
No, that's true. So they're not. And then it'll be on the back burner for another decade, because that's how these things work. And then they'll be like, okay, now is the time to reboot Predator.
And now let's bring Predator back to basics. And it's like, hasn't that been what you've been doing?
Yeah.
For like all of them?
No, the Predator is the one that everyone's going to point to now as being like, well, they tried too much, so now we just need to have a simple story that we all can recognize.
I mean, that's what Prey is trying to be.
Well, yeah, I like that with Prey. But okay, you went back to that. Now try something else again. Now. Yeah. That's all. All right, Prey. Matt, thanks for joining me. Where can the people find you online?
I'm at EmperorOTN1 at Twitter.com.
And you can find me at the Diego Crespo. Check out the Waffle Press on Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, and Patreon, where you get early access to other retrospectives. We're in the middle of failed blockbusters. I think we're like winding down in the back half right now.
Yeah, we're winding down, even though we gave ourselves way too many to do.
Yeah, but like it's been a pretty good run.
It has, yeah. I've been enjoying
the week
it.
of release, we're releasing the Monkey Bone episode. That was a fun one.
Monkey Bone's fun.
Yeah, and then the next couple weeks, you'll hear us talking about how we recorded them before we recorded the Monkey Bone episode because of weird circumstances. But yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. If you didn't like this, like and subscribe anyways, because you might find something you do like. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We've been professionally unprofessional.
It knows how to hunt. I know how to survive.